Welcome everybody. Today we are going to code snake. I'm gonna try to make this in Python, and for that I will use like a task app to help me. I sped up the coding part because I'm not that fast typer, and I will give you some information about what I did and why. So let's dive into it. The first thing we're going to look at is making a black screen. So we're going to make the right import statements like PyGame, we need system, and we need time. We also need to import some things for the game, but it's not something to worry about. Just import the things I import. Then we're going to define some variables. I'm just going to set the screen width and height at 500. Then we can make the necessary initializations for PyGame, and we can make a clock. The clock is used to determine the speed of the game, you will see later on. Then we go ahead and create a display, and then you have to give the dimensions like screen width, screen height. We define that 500. This is the actual game loop, so it will be a Python function that just has a while true loop, but I forgot it, so I will add it in a few minutes. As you can see, I have to add the global tag because the variables are not global and I need to set them global before I can use them. The clock.tick means that the while loop will be displayed, will be executed a fixed amount of times. So right now we have a here I set it in a while loop, and we created a screen that we filled with the color black. That's that 255, 255, 255. And right now I try to test it, but 255, 255, 255 is white, so that should be black, 0, 0, 0. Okay, then let's go to the second challenge. The second challenge is, if I'm not mistakenly, draw the snake. Here we go. We define a snake draw function. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna use two arrays that holds the x and y coordinates of the snake, and we're gonna paint it by iterating through those two arrays. So for I in range and then the length of the array, so we're going to iterate over every element in that array, and we're going to draw the rectangle with pygame.draw.rect, and then the screen. Then we give the color, we're going to paint it white, and then the actual coordinates, so snake x, y, and snake y, y, I mean, and then the width and length, and then the border width. Okay, so I think we can test this. Let's go ahead and run this script. Nothing is displayed, and that is because the screen.fill is placed after the draw snake, so we need to fill the screen after we have drawn it. There we go. Right now we're going to try to let the snake move. It sounds a bit tricky, but it is fairly easy. We just need a variable with a direction, and we just need to update the x and y coordinates every while loop, just one above. So what we're gonna do is we are going to iterate again over every element in the array with the x coordinates. Here we can see we just we will use the previous x and y coordinates to like move it, and just move it in a so the first part, so the second particle will become the first, etc, etc. So I used +1, but you will see that I need to change it to -1. Then we also are going to directly implement the direction, so it's just a integer that tells us in which direction the snake is facing. So we know if the x, y needs to be updated, like plus or minus. If you want to know how the grid of PyGame works, you can just look it up. It has fairly good documentation. rotation. So we're first going to move it, then we're going to draw it, and it doesn't work because I had +1 and I need to change it -1 because it will update the previous one. And then here you can see it moves perfectly, but it goes out of the screen because it will be painted at like x coordinate 600 or something. So the second challenge is to add the boundaries. We are also going to make a method that so that we can change the direction of the snake. So with just the arrow, so we are just going to use a standard PyGame script. So for e in pygame.event.get, and then we're going to check if it's a key down. So e type is key down. So if a key is pressed, and then we're going to check if the key that is pressed is a left, right, up, or down. So if e key is key up, and the direction is not 0, then direction going to be 2, because obviously if we are going up we can just change in going down, and the same goes for left, we can just directly go to right, and also like ceteris paribus, so right can go to right can go all the way to left, etc. You first need to make like a you need to make a corner before you can do that. So right now we can move it, but yeah, the direction should also be defined that it's global. Here we can see that I can perfectly move the snake, but as I said earlier, it will move out of the screen. So that's a very easy fix. Actually, it may look difficult, but you just need to check when the so we first check direction, and we check if it's outside the boundary. So it's just check if the x coordinate is outside the screen at the left or right. So here, if it's bigger than the screen width, it should be initialized at 0, and if it's smaller, then it should be initialized at the screen width. So that will just go outside one screen and go inside the other, in the other side, on the other side of the screen. So we also do it for y, so up, down, left, and right. That's very trivial, and it's it adds a lot of favor. Sometimes snake games will die if you hit the boundaries, but I like it more if you can just move through the walls. It's a cool effect, I think. It's also tricky if you are very long. Okay, next challenge, just add a foot and a score. So again, we're going to hold the x and y coordinates. This time it's just one number. We're also going to import random because, yeah, we will just create random foot object at random locations. So a random integer from 0 to the screen width and screen height, so it will appear anywhere on the screen. Then we're going to create a method that draws the foot. That's just an easy circle, I guess I did. So just PyGame.draw.circle. And then we need the screen, then we need the color. I think I used red just to like mimic an apple. And foot x, foot y, that are just the coordinates. And I will mess up here a little bit with the method dot circle. As you can see, try and error is the best way of programming, if you ask me. So it's going to fail, just 4 element, I give 3, so the border should be there. Nope, it's not that. The border should be defined outside. Okay, there we go. Like there is a red dot randomly at the screen. Right now we are obviously going to check if we ate the apple. So if the head of the snake collided with the red dot. So check food, I'm going to call it. So check if the food is eaten by the snake. I'm just going to copy it. It's actually always the same if you will check collision. So just check if the x coordinates are overlapping, and then you check if the y coordinates are overlapping. And it's not that difficult, but I hate to think about it, so I usually use the same code every time. Again, it's easy. If you have done it once, you can do it every time. And then we're going to add a new snake block at the outside of the screen. So when the snake gets updated, it will appear at the end of the snake, so at the tail. So that works fine. Yeah, I tweaked a little bit with the collision because it was not working perfectly. Right now we're also going to add a score, so score +1, but I should define it globally and I didn't, so that will probably be something I need to change later on. So draw score, yeah, and standard PyGame methods for that. So sometimes I look it up, and here I looked it up as well, and just use the same as previous time. So yeah, you just first define the font, then you render the font with your text, and it's not updated. And why not? Because the score, as I said, was not defined global, but it should also be defined global in the check food. And I forgot that right now. I'm going to see it. Score, here we go, and there we go. As you can see, the score is adding, so it works. Yes. So right now the game is actually almost finished. The only thing we need is, obviously, you can die right now, so you need a collision detection with itself, so the snake cannot eat itself. So check collision, I called this. Check if the snake ate itself. So again, I'm just going to copy the collision code because it's fairly easy, but we first need to define a nested for loop, so we check if every square of the snake is colliding with any other square. So here, so it's a nested for loop, but you check every item with everything, but I need to add in front and I didn't do it right away. You should always try to do that. Also state that I is not equal to G, J, J, because obviously the square, a square will collide with its own square, so you don't need to check the same squares because it will always collide because it's the same. I'll probably have something wrong in the code because I don't check it. So I'm just also going to define a die. Check if die. Why did I do that? I used that because if we check on, if we check in the middle of the loop, weird things happen. So you also need to make sure you do it at the end of the loop, so you can start fresh in the new iteration. So that, like for example, you don't check for food if you already died or something. So we just initialize everything at the same as the start of the game. So again, 3x and 3y coordinates, direction is 0. The food x and food y will re-initialize, and the score will be set at 0. And of course, you're not dead, so die is false. And we're also going to write some text like game over. Your score was ... and you ate yourself. Or don't eat yourself. Okay, I struggled a little bit with the backspace. There we go. Yeah, the coordinate system is just a bit try and error. I didn't get right, so sleep then. What it will do, it will just let the game pause for 10 seconds. So you see the game over score for 10 seconds, and that's it. Here we go into some documentation so you can correct things and you can see it later on. Okay, so I messed up there. I know I messed up. I said it earlier, so I didn't see what was going on, but obviously the I is not the same as G, and there was also something wrong with a spelling mistake. Check if I forgot to add a global to score probably. Time.sleep, yeah. Okay. So I changed a little bit, and there we go. That's the game, guys. I hope you liked it. I think I'm going to test like the touch screen, and it didn't work, so I'm going to update that first. So it just according, yeah, you need to update the screen before you go to sleep, because the update right now only happens at the end of the while loop, but it should also update if you want to set your score previously, your game over score. So here we can see we can just play the game very easily, and if you die, it's not good. I messed up X and Y because they are switched around in the screen.plit. A little bit weird. I mean, they were not split around. I thought they were split around. Okay. Not yet perfect. A little bit more spacing between them. And there we go. I think that's a wrap. What we also will do is add the speed. So every time you get new food, your speed gets increased. So that's a little fun extra to the game. As you can see, this is the game. You can eat apples and your score is added, and then if you die you will get a that screen, and the speed increases. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there we go. Game over. Your score was 10. Don't eat yourself. Right now, if after 10 seconds we will start again, your score should be 0. And I forgot to update the speed, but I'm not going to change it. That's a little bit fun for someone who's playing. If you restart the game, it will be not 0. Okay, guys, that was my Snake in Python. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will gladly answer them, and I hope to see you in a next tutorial. If you like the video, please like and consider subscribing, because I love to make this, and if you liked it, you should not miss a video. I'm just going to wait until I die here. I'm probably going to kill myself. Oh, I just stopped the game. Okay, bye guys.